Badminton task. Introduction. Throughout this badminton task, I was responsible for the improvement of court movement, in particular getting my teammates used to returning to the centre of the court in order to be ready to hit the shuttle in any area of the court. In order to do this, I made my teammates used to running around the court, and after each shot running back to the centre of the court. For the reason that I chose to work on this aspect of badminton is because I identified this as a strength of mine which would allow me to aid my teammates in improving this themselves. Although this was a strength of mine, I also did identify that sometimes I would be unable to hit the shuttle as I was not returning to the centre after each hit. Evidence. My evidence slide here shows the results from a doubles match. Here I am with Billy, and you can see we went quite high in both the games, and here you can see how both of us rank against everyone else in the class. Down the side here you can see where I have lost most of my points, and as you can see they're mostly on the edge of the court, which highlights that that court movement is something I need to improve. Fitness testing down here shows my fitness scores for my agility. I did the 5-10-5 agility test, which I scored 5.4 seconds. For my vertical jump test, I scored 50 centimeters. For my power test, I did the basketball throw, which I scored 7 meters. And my doubles rank was out of 27. Evidence slide. Prior to the competition, I undertook a number of fitness tests in order to identify any possible strengths and weaknesses. My time of 5.4 seconds in the 5-10-5 agility test is an average score, which means that although I had decent agility abilities, there was still room for improvement. My vertical jump score was 50 centimeters, which is considered to be an above average score, which I identified as a possible strength when it came to overhead smashes. In addition to this, my basketball throw measurement was 7 meters, which is above average, therefore adding to the power of my overhead smash. Throughout the competition, we recorded our game scores along with player rankings in order to build an idea of how each player compares to the rest of the class. One of the most effective pieces of evidence which I collected was marking each area of the court where I lost a point, in order to develop an idea of what my weakness is. In this diagram, in the slide prior to this, it is made clear that all the points lost were on the borders of the court. This means that my court movement needs improvement, as I was unable to effectively move around the court to where the shuttle was being hit to. Analyzing this evidence was highly beneficial, as it allowed me to come up with a strategy to improve my court movement and agility, and therefore improve my gameplay. This strategy was to have a teammate constantly hitting high shuttles to me while I practice moving back to the middle of the court after each shot. We did this for each team member as well. So the border doesn't allow me to show the bottom. The reason for hitting the high shuttles was because it gave me a bit of time to get used to thinking to come back, which eventually we hit them more normally and more intensely. Evaluation. The strategies which I implemented in order to improve gameplay were highly effective, as I then recorded where I was losing my points, and firstly there were fewer points lost as there were no longer being points lost in the edges of the court, which was my main issue. The reason that this training strategy was so effective is because it developed a habit of returning to the middle of the court after each shot during games in order to improve my court movement in a real game situation. In order to improve my role, I also conducted this same strategy to improve my teammates' gameplay. In order to improve my role, I could have conducted the 5-10-5 agility test with all of my teammates in order to see if the training strategy had improved all of our abilities. Communication and collaboration. Communication and collaboration were crucial in my role of helping my teammates improve their court movement, as we were required to run a training session for our team. This required clear instructions on my behalf and collaboration on behalf of the rest of the team. In order to run this training session successfully, I took charge but gave constructive feedback to my group and was highly vocal with my instructions. During this process, I do believe that my teammates may have benefited from additional demonstrations and tips, as at times they would make the same mistakes several times over. This may be a result of my own teaching, which could possibly be more clear. Lastly, collaboration was consistently used as we were required to work as a team in order to set up the equipment in order for us to be able to run our training sessions. Thank you.